So Shannon and I just had a fantastic buyer consultation with a good friend of ours who is looking to buy his first house. And in doing so, it actually brought up a lot of questions and kind of re-jogged our memory as to maybe there's some things here that we haven't told everybody yet. Or if we have, it's certainly been a while. So today, we're gonna give you the most clear and concise buyer's consultation ever assembled. Oh, and whether you're a first-time buyer and you've never done this before, or it's been a few years, I'm sure there's gonna be some information in this that you're gonna wanna take home with you. So, bookmark this video and let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna talk about is that as a buyer, I think I'm talking to you, you have the power to choose any agent you want to work with. No, you don't have to choose the agent that you just randomly walked into an open house and met and they shook your hand and gave you a card and they're like, haha, you're mine now. You don't have to use them. You don't have to use the agent that your best friend of the city that you're moving to, let's say Bend, you don't have to use the agent that they use just because they told you to. Point is, you can choose whoever you want to use, whoever you're most comfortable with, all right? Look, you should be using the agent or team you are the most comfortable with, the person that you can connect with, who has the most local knowledge, and who will genuinely work with you to get the best results and look out for your own best interests. Our buyer today was brand spanking new to this whole world. I asked him if he'd been looking on Zillow at homes, just kind of poking around. He said, no, not at all. What? Hadn't even been looking on Zillow? Really? This is gonna be fun. But it's a big, stressful decision. And at one point, I looked at him straight in the face and said, don't worry, this is your call, this is your purchase, but at the same time, we won't let you make a terrible decision. We're here to look out for your own best interests. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and assume that you're working with a great agent. The next thing we need to explore is how you're going to pay for this. Now, most of the time there are two options. You're either sitting on a pile of dough and are gonna pay cash. Yeah, there are those folks out there. A lot of them. I don't know where they come from, they just give us a call. Or you're getting a loan, AKA a mortgage. Now, there are all sort of stipulations in gray area, but we'll touch on those in a second. Okay, so now let's go back to the people with cash. If you got a big old pile of cash, we can just skip straight to the shopping. But if you're getting a loan, there are games to play. Now, in some situations, you may need to talk to your financial advisor or even your CPA, but for most situations, a great lender can actually walk you through all of your options. Yes, options. You see, there's more than one way to do this. But first, we need to talk about a couple of words that get thrown around all the time that kind of mean the same thing, just for clarity's sake. Loan officer, mortgage broker, lender, mortgage banker. These are all basically, on a high level, these are all the same thing. These are the people that are gonna help you get the loan for the house. There are technical differences between all of them, but for this video, that's all you need to know for right now, okay? They're the person that's gonna give you the money to buy the house. I like using the word lender because it's kind of broad and all-encompassing. Because no matter who they work for, they're helping lend you the money. Lender. Okay, so I did say that there was games to play, but I didn't mean like title games. No, I meant other games. So let's talk about that for a second. Now, when lenders give you money, they also get paid, right? So in this case, you do want to look out for yourself to make sure that you're getting the best deal. But now it's not always about getting the best deal. As the old saying goes, you do get what you pay for, right? This is no lie, I have got stories. In fact, I could probably do a video on that alone. But it is in your best interest to check out a couple of different companies that do mortgages. You could go to a bank, you could go to a broker, you could go to a credit union and compare details on their loan estimate. That's the little sheet that they'll give you that has all their fees on it. This is pretty important because maybe you like one lender, but another lender has a better deal for you. They have less fees. You can always ask the first lender if they can do better. You can negotiate, you can borderline haggle. Think Mexico, when you're trying to get that cool pullover or the dream catcher or whatever, their first price isn't always the best. And again, maybe the lender that you feel is the best or that you have a better connection with, that you feel is more on your side, doesn't quite have the best rates. Sometimes it might still be better to go with them to avoid any really costly issues or problems or mistakes down the line at the end of your real estate transaction. Because I've seen that happen too. Because this lender does need to be kind of like your friend. They need to watch out for you and they need to explain what you're actually walking into. This isn't really the agent's job. In fact, agents don't really even have to know numbers. All we have to know is, does the lender say that you can afford this or not? And then we can write it. We don't necessarily need to know the numbers. We just need to know if you can afford the house according to the lender. So the lender can help you tailor your approach so that you understand the difference between spending 5% down versus 20% down or even 50% down. Because you can put any amount down basically that you want, from about 5%, 3%, 5% on up. I've had people put $1 million down as a down payment on a loan for a house and only take out a loan for $100,000. They will explain the payment, what's included in that payment, and how that payment will go up or down depending on how much down payment you put down for the loan. There's a ton to it. I'm not a lender. Again, it's best to find a great lender that you can talk to. I can refer some if you need. Okay, let's say you have a budget and you are now ready to go shop for homes. Your agent will typically set up a portal to where you'll start getting homes sent to you online through emails, based upon what you said you're looking for, your budget, and what's important to you. This is where buyers usually get really excited and even sometimes a little bit nervous because they're not really sure it's the first time they've gotten into something like this. But the really interesting thing is that as buyers start to look around the market, seeing what's available and seeing the prices of certain homes, whether they realize it or not, you almost subconsciously start becoming very acutely aware of the market and what's out there. You might originally get your portal and think that there's way too many homes to even look at, but in a very short amount of time, between looking online at photos and sometimes even doing drive-bys or looking at Google Maps, homes that fit what you're looking for usually tend to narrow down very quickly on their own. Also, in today's real estate world, and when I say today's, I mean kind of like post 2008, 9, 10, because since about 2011, coming out of that Great Recession, inventory has been low. I mean, it's been low for a decade. 6 months of inventory used to be normal before that, and now we haven't crossed 3 months of inventory since then. Point being, there just aren't that many options to look at. Even if there's 3 months of inventory, it's not really that much. After you narrow it down, you're gonna find that there's really only a few homes that are worth going to see. And that's not us trying to take shortcuts or get a quick sale. We're happy to show you as many homes as you need. In fact, one of our last clients, we took them to see, I think, 18 homes, I think, is what it was. But to be honest, after the first day of about 10, they quickly realized as well that there's really only 3 contenders here. Now, we showed all 18 because, better be safe than sorry, but you don't always necessarily need to, which is interesting because most people will think that they need to see a ton of houses. But I promise, for most buyers, after they start that exploratory phase, they realize very quickly, this is just kind of a lot of a waste of time. So narrow down to the winners. I guess what I'm trying to explain is that buyers will usually get a very good pulse on the market. The first house was nice, but too expensive. The second house is priced nicely, but it's got a terrible backyard. Man. And the third house, which seems too good to be true, what's the deal with it? Well, it's a 1/3 ownership because it's a vacation rental home. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, those exist too. Man, dang it, that was so cheap. Ultimately, you'll find yourself doing the Goldilocks thing. Too hot, too cold, just right. From that point on, it's back in your agent's hands to help you negotiate the best deal possible. Write up the offer and get it under contract. If you're buying with cash, you could close in as little as 7 days. If the seller can move that fast, and if you wanna move in that fast, and there's a few other caveats there, but if you're getting a loan, you can count on there being about 30 to 45 days from the day that you get your contract accepted to the day that you can actually take possession and move in. Why so long? Well, at some point in the future, blockchain technology could make this all very, very, very simple, and maybe it will only take 7 days. But for now, it's paperwork, and you can blame the lender if you want. I don't know. Look, if you haven't noticed, I could ramble on all day about, getting ready to buy a house, And usually our buyer consultations do take a little longer than 8 or 9 minutes, but this should be enough to get you started on your own journey. As always, my team and I would love to be your resource of choice. If you are going down this road, we would love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to us at krommrealestate.com. And thanks so much for watching. There's tons of real estate information here on our channel, as well as neighborhood tours and information about the area. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. And oh, you gotta subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Cheers. I don't know how you bookmark a video. I don't know. Save it to my favorites. I don't know. That's a thing.